Standard 5, application of content. The video shown is one on exponential graphing, and the video, what I did differently for this particular lesson is that I actually showed a video of how it's used how the exponential graphing is used, not only in when we're solving them or when we're graphing them, but how it's used in the world. So started off with
warm up.
Yeah, we went the warm up. Started off with how they solve exponential equations or exponential functions, and then we went into we showed the video that gave them some insight on how to draw the graphs. Also, we also gave some of the highlights of what happens when the graph actually, or the function actually becomes bigger, or it becomes smaller if we have or if we're using a fraction. So we showed exponential growth, exponential decay if it was a fraction. The video also explained to them how when it's best to use those particular graphs. Exponential decay when we're talking about decay or breakdown of cells, and also when we talk about the growth of your retirement fund, that was explained in the graph that we could use exponential growth. Also when we're talking about exponential growth for population. After that, they were given a task to not only graph, but to compare the graphs in terms of what direction the graph will go in, or how steep the graph will go depending on the exponent that they have, or the function that they have. It also indicated, and we also gave we also highlighted what we call the asymptote. So that gave us an gave them an indication of where the graph does not actually meet. Some of the things that we also did in the lesson is that why we introduced the video is because we wanted to give them some time to actually think about some of the things that it will probably be related to in the outside world and global issues.
So yeah, I think the video was really good in illustrating that. Kids can definitely relate to growth and decay as it relates to money and diseases, population. I like the video. I like the way you started and kind of access their prior knowledge of graphing, and the demo really kind of probably hit it home for them. And I also like the characters and the way they introduce like the new vocabulary on the side of the video. And then I think at the end you had something about showing them how to graph using the calculators. So that kind of brought in a different thing for them. And the other thing was how when you change depending on whether you change the H or the K, how the graph would move. I think it was important to show them that as well. It's one thing to say it, but it was good to show them that. So what do you think went really well with this lesson?
Well, with the lesson, I believe that they were able to grasp the not only the content, but they were able to associate it with global issues. So they were afterwards we did have some questioning about some of the ways that exponential growth works, and the discussion was the discussion went really well. Some of the other things that I believe that they really started to grasp the use of the calculator and how it is that they communicate, not only putting in different equations or functions, but they really got a grasp of why it is that using a fraction or getting an exponent of a fraction grows or gets smaller. So so we'll be able to do that by multiplying fractions that they saw that they get smaller because the denominator got larger, and as it got larger, that your growth got smaller. Other than that, I believe that they were engaged for the most part. I think that still we have to work on some of the chatter, especially those are closer to the video, because I think that what they're doing is that they want to hear themselves on the videos, because I explained to them that that is something that we would be that I would be using for future lessons.
So you kind of touched on what didn't go well, the chatter.
Yeah.
And so I guess my last question is, what other supports do you think you need around application of content?
I think what I do need is to focus a little bit more on graphing, because as much as we're doing graphing, we need to focus on not only the graphing part of it, but using the calculator to get using the other features of the calculator, so that they can master using the calculator and graphing, and just giving them more insight into some of the nuances of the graphing, like we talked about what happens with the H and the K, and just reinforcing that so that they understand that these are things that they can use without having to use a calculator. And those are usually the questions that come up on the non-calculator side of of testing. Other supports, once again, is I just have to. I'm working on that classroom management side, so if I can have someone just there, that's actually helping me work on that would be a plus.
Okay.